Hello, welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Tuesday, January 9th. I hope you're having a good start to your week in the second week of 2024. Really excited today to talk about pricing for your audiobooks and what should you charge. I'm excited to talk about this topic because I think it's one that we all wonder, especially when you're just starting out too. You know, what do you charge and what are good practices? So we're going to dive into that. Make sure you check out A VO's Journey Elite Academy and a Winter Wonderland Extravaganza. Super excited about that. Not only are we there helping you grow your voiceover business from start to finish, no matter what level you are, whether you're beginning, intermediate, or advanced, but we're also doing this cool thing, Winter Wonderland, which we do challenges, collaborations, audio dramas, all that kind of fun stuff. So check it out, the link below to give it a shot. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into charging for your audiobook. So I always think of audiobooks in an interesting manner because the pricing doesn't change across the board, really. I mean, you know, there's of course different levels of pricing, which we're going to talk about, but in general, no matter where you are, whether you're working with a big box publisher or you're working on Fiverr or any place, ACX, doesn't really matter. I mean, the prices pretty much stay the same within a certain area. So, you know, I would say that even though I feel like audiobooks can be one of the lower prices, meaning like, you know, with the amount of work, the price structure of it, though, stays pretty much the same across the whole industry. So typically, all right, we go from $50 per finished hour up to $250 to $300 per finished hour. Can you charge more than $300 per finished hour? Yes, of course. But as you get higher, you're really getting more towards like the people who are famous or the people who really have high name recognition. So the majority of us probably stay within that $50 to $300 per finished hour range. When you're first starting out, I've always been a big advocate for knowing thyself. Meaning, like, when I first started out, to me, it was more important that I start getting work, that I start, learning, feeling like people want to hire me, and to get myself out there than it was to charge the most expensive rate. Again, that was just me. So, you know, you run your own show, but I find that I think my first book I ever did was probably like an hour and a half and audiobook, and I charged $50 per finished hour. So I probably made like $75 or something on the first audiobook I ever did. And I was so happy about that. You know what I mean? Because it was just the greatest thing ever. My name was on Amazon, you know, and Audible. And I mean, I don't think I did a very good job because it was the first book I ever did. But the point is I got myself out there. I made a little bit of money. But to me, it was more important to get that practice and that experience. So I started there, but then I worked my way up, right, to $100, $150, $200, $250. Now I charge $300 per finished hour, but I worked my way up. And I think a majority of people probably start between $100 and $150 per finished hour. And remember, a finished hour is the finished hour, not how many hours it actually takes you to do a finished hour. So for every finished hour you hear on an audiobook, right, it typically takes us if you're good, about 2 hours to record it, and then probably another 2 hours to edit it. All right. And that's if you're moving along, right? So you think about 3 to 4 hours to do one finished hour. Some people it takes 5, 6, 7 hours. Okay. But, you know, we want to shoot for 3 to 4 hours per finished hour. So if you break that down, right, then you kind of see where audiobooks aren't the highest priced voiceover work out there, but how they make up for it is that there is more audiobook work available for people than probably any other voiceover work out there. Okay, it's just nonstop. The thirst for audiobooks, right, and the continuous creation of books and turning them into audiobooks has just created such a backlog of work. So I mean, there's plenty of work for narrators, and especially new ones, which makes it very appealing. So that's why I say, starting off, it's important for you to get a good price that you can, but also to get hired, to get working. All right. Now I'm going to talk real quick about the narration and then the editing and mastering part. Okay, like the production side of it. So we charge, unless otherwise stated, in most cases. Okay, we nowadays, as our home studios, we not only narrate, but we also edit and master and so forth, right? So because of that, it's important that we understand that that's all built into the price. Now, you might be, I break it down now to say, this is how much I cost to narrate, and this is how much I cost to edit and master and format the audio, right, for ACX, typically, because there's standards, right? We know those standards for ACX, 44, 100 hertz, 16 bits, and 192 constant bit rate. Okay, so we know that is no higher than -3 dB on the peak scale, as well as between -18 and -23 RMS. So we know that those are like the standards for ACX, and we need to edit and format our work. So that's all built into that price, but you can separate them, especially if the person that you're working for too, or you're working with, you might down the road get an engineer to work with you. So you charge $100 per finished hour, and you pay your engineer $50, right, to edit and format your work. So you know what I'm saying? So you take 100, pay your engineer 50 per finished hour. A lot of experienced audiobook narrators do that because as you grow, the time, right, you get more books, it takes more and more time. But when you're first starting out, you got to learn how to do it. At least I think you should learn how to do it yourself. You don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but I like to learn how to do things myself first so that when I do work with other people, I at least have some working knowledge of it. I mean, that's just me, right? So I understand what they're doing, what they're not doing, and then I can judge whether it's good or not. You know what I mean? Because I understand it. So, but anyways, this is how we typically price our audiobooks. And, I recommend, again, starting between $100 and $150, getting up to $200, $250, up to $300, and you can try out these prices too. But if someone comes along and offers you $50 per finished hour, as long as the book, in my opinion, as long as the book is not super long, that's fine. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, that's fine. Now, I've heard some people say, if something's under 3 hours, you shouldn't do it. Or there's royalty share. Now, we haven't talked about royalty share, and it revolves around royalty share. Now, in the Academy, the VO's Journey Elite Academy, we, like, for example, this week, we're going over ACX, and I'm going to go through how to pick the right books. This is a really important thing, how to pick the right books to go after royalty share, right? Royalty and royalty share plus, because, that's where you share 50% of the 40% royalties that the author or rights holder gets. Okay. But you want to make sure when you do royalty share, there's nothing wrong with doing 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, 4. It doesn't matter how many hours the book is. What matters is how well it's selling. Right? And in the end, it matters how well it's selling. If it's selling and you get an opportunity to do a royalty share on a book that's selling really well, all right, and I'm going to show you how to find that out, you want to jump on that. In fact, it's way better to do 3 hours or less because you take less of the risk. The less time you take, the less risk you take. Does that make sense? Because it allows you to roll a dice. So if there's a book that's 45 minutes or an hour long, you roll the dice on it, you're not going to lose a ton of money if over 7 years you don't make back, but you have 7 years to make all the money back that you would have made at $58, $100, $150. And you have the potential to make a lot more, but only if the book is selling. So, when we go to royalty share plus, it's important to note that picking the right books for those are important, and staying away from the ones that are duds. All right. But the point here is no matter whether it's the right book or dud or, the pricing of it, I do want to point out that it is also important that you get work early on to start. And audiobooks are a great place, because what you don't want is to go a year, 2 years without getting any work, because it takes a long time to get yourself established in certain industries. I mean, it took me about 2 to 3 years before I started getting commercial work. But because of audiobooks, I worked literally nonstop that whole time. But I look back and I thought, if it wasn't for audiobooks, I mean, and it wasn't like I wasn't trying for the commercial work. It just took me that long to get myself on the scene, get better at that type of voiceover style, right? Especially on all the different ones. I mean, the audiobooks were something that I was, able to get straight away, which gave me energy. It gave me sustainability over that time while I was trying to get other work. Does that make sense? So you've got to take all these judgments, and it's not always about money, but it is important for you to know how much you should be charging and how much the industry charges. Okay. The industry standard, like I said, is between $200-$300 per finished hour. And that can include your editing and formatting or not. Right. But again, I think, like I said, I used to accept jobs when I first started. I was accepting everything because I just wanted to work. All right. I hope this helps out, give you some room for thought. It's okay to stand on and say, this is what I charge. People aren't going to pay that. That's fine. I'm not going to do the work. And that's totally fine, of course. But just remember that don't go so long that you start to wonder why you're even doing this, when you could be getting work to practice at least and get yourself out there. And don't forget, it's audiobooks too. And actually any work you can use a pseudonym. Right? And audiobooks really are the only ones that you're going to put your name on, really. I mean, there might be some other ones, like if there's a long documentary or something where your name is put some, or a video game per se. But even any of these, the rest of them, they'll never know your name. But audiobooks, since we typically say our name and the narrator, is usually on the audiobook cover too, it's important you can use a pseudonym as well. So it doesn't even have to be your real name. So that means you can use an endless stream of names. If you're worried about just beginning out, what you're charging, trying to get yourself out there, trying to get practice. All right, I hope this helps. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out Avila's Journey Elite Academy and our Winterland Extravaganza. Articulate, Anthony. Winterland Extravaganza. Check out that link below. We'd love to have you. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.